Park Tai-ho stood near the drinks table and wished he was anywhere else. The First Contact Festival was supposed to be a celebration. 5 years since the Valari Empire came to Earth. 5 years of peace and trade and cultural exchange. Everyone in Seoul was excited. Everyone except Tai-ho. He was a translator for the Earth Valari Cultural Exchange Program. It was a good job. It paid well. But tonight, he was stuck at a fancy gala, wearing an uncomfortable suit, translating small talk for minor Valari officials who didn't really need translation. His translator device did most of the work anyway. Tai-ho grabbed another glass of Valari wine. It was purple and sweet and supposedly mild. He had already finished 3 glasses. His co-worker Kang Jisoo stood next to him and watched the crowd. "You should slow down," Jisoo said. "That stuff is stronger than it tastes." "I'm fine," Tai-ho said. He was not fine. Across the room he saw her, Yun-Nari, his ex-girlfriend. They had been together for 3 years. She broke up with him 2 months ago, said he was boring, said he had no ambition, said she needed someone who was going somewhere in life. Now she was here, at his work event, wearing a red dress, hanging on the arm of some rich corporate heir whose father owned half the space mining contracts in the solar system. Tai-ho drank more wine. "Don't look at her," Jisoo said. "It's not worth it." "I'm not looking," Tai-ho lied. Nari laughed at something her new boyfriend said. She touched his chest. She never laughed like that with Tai-ho. Maybe she was right. Maybe he was boring. The room suddenly got quieter. People turned toward the main entrance. Tai-ho looked too. Princess Ithara had arrived. She was the youngest daughter of Emperor Vaeloth. The Valari were tall and slim with pale blue skin and silver hair. Their eyes were large and dark, like pools of night sky. They moved like dancers, graceful and precise. But Princess Ithara was different from the other Valari Tai-ho had seen. There was something warm in her expression, something almost human. She smiled at the crowd, and it seemed real, not political. Her dress was white and gold and flowed like water when she walked. Her silver hair was long and decorated with tiny lights that looked like stars. Tai-ho stared. He couldn't help it. The wine made his thoughts loose and his mouth stupid. "She's beautiful," he muttered. "Yeah," Jisoo agreed. Tai-ho looked at Nari again, then back at the princess. The wine burned in his stomach and the bitterness burned in his heart. 10 times prettier than Nari ever was, he said, too loud, way too loud. Jisoo's face went pale. "Tai-ho, shut up." "What? It's true. Look at her. Nari thinks she's so special with her rich boyfriend. Please, she's nothing compared to Tai-ho." Jisoo grabbed his arm. Her grip was tight. "The Valari have really good hearing." Tai-ho blinked. So? "So the princess is right behind you." Tai-ho felt his blood turn to ice. Slowly, very slowly, he turned around. Princess Ithara stood 3 meters away. She was looking directly at him. Her dark eyes studied his face like he was a puzzle she wanted to solve. Tai-ho wanted to die. He wanted the floor to open up and swallow him whole. He wanted to go back in time and punch himself in the mouth. I'm so sorry, Your Highness," he stammered. "I didn't mean, I was just... The wine is very strong and I..." The princess walked toward him. Each step was elegant and deliberate. The crowd parted for her. Everyone was watching now, including Nari, including her stupid rich boyfriend. Princess Ithara stopped directly in front of Tai-ho. She was taller than him by almost a head. She smelled like flowers he couldn't name. "You compared me to a former romantic partner," she said. Her Korean was perfect. "And you declared me superior." Yes, but I was drunk. I am drunk. I didn't..." "In my culture," the princess continued, "this is called a declaration of aesthetic preference. It is the first step in a formal courtship ritual." Tai-ho's brain stopped working. "A what?" "Courtship. the process of seeking a romantic partner. She tilted her head. Is this not what you intended? No. I mean, you're very beautiful, obviously, but I wasn't trying to. I just broke up with my girlfriend and I was feeling bad and you were expressing genuine feeling, the princess said. Not calculated flattery. This is rare among those who speak to me. She paused. I accept. You accept what? Your declaration. I wish to learn more about human romantic customs. She looked around the room at all the staring faces. This male has initiated courtship with me. I find his honesty refreshing. Taiho heard a glass break somewhere. Someone gasped. He saw his supervisor, Bei Yunji, pushing through the crowd with pure panic on her face. Your Highness, Taiho said desperately. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I wasn't trying to start anything. I was just being stupid. Among my people. Stupidity and honesty are not the same thing. The princess almost smiled. You spoke truth when you thought no one important was listening. That tells me more about your character than any formal introduction. Yunji finally reached them. She was breathing hard and sweating. Your Highness, please forgive my employee. He's had too much to drink. He didn't understand what he was saying. We can forget this happened and... Forget? The princess raised one elegant eyebrow. He has made a declaration before witnesses. If he withdraws now without completing the courtship trials, it would be a grave insult to me and to my family. Yunji looked like she might faint. Trials? The 5 trials of courtship: wit, courage, compassion, strength, and truth. The princess looked back at Taiho. Unless you are saying you did not mean your words? That you find me ugly? No, Taiho said quickly. You're gorgeous, stunning, the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Then you accept the trials? Taiho looked at Eunji. She looked at him. They both understood. If he refused now, it would be a diplomatic disaster. The human-Valari relationship was still fragile. One stupid translator and his big drunk mouth could destroy 5 years of peace. Taiho swallowed hard. I accept. The princess nodded. Good. I will send details of the first trial tomorrow. She reached out and touched his cheek. Her fingers were cool and soft. I look forward to learning what humans are made of, Park Taiho. She knew his name. Of course she knew his name. She probably knew everything about him already. Princess Ethera turned and walked away. The crowd parted for her again. She didn't look back. Taiho stood frozen. Jisoo stared at him. Yunji stared at him. The entire room stared at him. Across the gala, Nari's mouth hung open. Her rich boyfriend looked confused. Taiho had wanted to make her jealous. He had wanted to feel better about himself. Instead, he had accidentally started a formal courtship with an alien princess. His life was over, or maybe it was just beginning. The next morning, Taiho woke up with the worst headache of his life. For 5 beautiful seconds, he thought the gala had been a dream. Then his phone buzzed with 17 messages from his supervisor. It was real. All of it. By noon, Taiho was sitting in a conference room at the Valari embassy. The building was tall and white and shaped like a spiral shell. Everything inside was smooth and curved. The Valari didn't like sharp corners. Yunji sat next to him, still looking like she hadn't slept. Across the table sat Commander Raylos, Princess Ethara's personal guardian. He was tall even for a Valari, with cold eyes and a scar across his cheek. You will complete the 5 trials, Raylos said. His voice was flat. You will treat the princess with respect. You will not embarrass her or yourself. Understood? Understood, Taiho said quietly. I do not like this, Raylos continued. Humans are weak, emotional, unpredictable. I advise the princess to reject your declaration and accept the diplomatic insult. She refused. His eyes narrowed. She sees something in you. I do not. Prove me wrong. Taiho nodded. He didn't trust his voice. After the meeting, his best friend Im Do-hyun called him. Do-hyun was a xenobiologist who studied Valari physiology. He thought the whole situation was hilarious. "You're courting a princess!" Do-hyun laughed through the phone. "You got drunk and hit on royalty. This is the best thing that's ever happened." "I'm going to die," Tae-ho said. "I'm going to fail these trials and cause a war and die." "Probably," Do-hyun agreed cheerfully. "But what a way to go." The first trial was the trial of wit. It took place in the embassy's Great Hall. Tae-ho had to debate 3 Valari scholars about the nature of beauty. The Valari believed beauty was objective, mathematical. There were formulas and ratios that determined what was beautiful. They had studied it for thousands of years. Tae-ho sat at a small table facing the 3 scholars. Princess Ithara watched from a raised platform. Dozens of Valari nobles filled the seats around them. The first scholar spoke. "Beauty is measurable. Symmetry, proportion, harmony of form. This is proven fact." Tae-ho took a breath. He had prepared for this. Do-hyun had helped him research Valari philosophy all night. "On Earth," Tae-ho said, "we have a saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It means beauty is subjective, personal. What I find beautiful, someone else might not." The scholars exchanged looks. "This is chaos," the second scholar said. "Without standards, how do you judge anything?" "We don't," Tae-ho said. "Not really. I think rain is beautiful. My friend thinks it's depressing. We're both right." He paused. "When I saw the princess last night, I thought she was beautiful. But I didn't measure her face. I didn't calculate ratios. I just felt it. Here." He touched his chest. The third scholar frowned. "Feeling is not knowledge." "Maybe not," Tae-ho said. "But when I look at a sunset, I don't want to measure it. I want to feel it. When I listen to music, I don't analyze the frequencies. I just let it move me." He looked up at Princess Ithara. "Your people have studied beauty for thousands of years. You know everything about what beauty is. But do you know what it feels like?" The room was silent. Princess Ithara leaned forward slightly. Her expression was curious, interested. The head scholar stood. "The human argues that subjective experience has value equal to objective measurement. This is an unusual position." He paused. "But he argues it well. The trial of wit is past." Tae-ho let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. 3 days later came the trial of courage. Tae-ho was taken to the orbital station Celestial Harmony, high above Earth. The trial was a zero-gravity obstacle course. The course was designed for Valari. They had hollow bones and light bodies. They moved through zero gravity like fish through water. Tae-ho had never been in zero gravity in his life. He floated at the starting line in a thin pressure suit. The course stretched out ahead of him, spinning rings, moving platforms, barriers that opened and closed. "You must reach the end in under 10 minutes, the judge announced. "Begin." Tae-ho pushed off. He immediately started spinning. He couldn't control his body. He crashed into the first ring and bounced away. He heard some Valari laughing. Tae-ho gritted his teeth. He tried again. He was too heavy, too clumsy. He didn't know how to move without gravity. But he kept trying. He crashed into barriers. He missed platforms. He got tangled in a net and had to tear his way out. His body slammed into hard surfaces again and again. Any Valari would have broken bones by now. Their hollow skeletons were fragile. But humans were different. Human bones were dense and solid. They could take punishment. Tae-ho took the punishment. 8 minutes passed. He was only halfway through. His body was covered in bruises. He could taste blood in his mouth. The Valari weren't laughing anymore. Tae-ho reached a spinning tunnel. The Valari were supposed to fly through it gracefully, matching its rotation. Tae-ho couldn't do that, so he didn't try. He launched himself straight at it. He crashed through the tunnel walls, using his heavy body like a hammer. The structure bent around him. He burst out the other side. 9 minutes. Final obstacle, a closing gate. Tai-Ho pushed off with everything he had. He flew toward the gate. It was closing fast. He wasn't going to make it. He turned his body sideways and hit the gap at full speed. The gate caught his leg. He felt something crack, but his body squeezed through. 9 minutes and 47 seconds. He floated past the finish line and grabbed a handhold. His leg was definitely broken. His whole body screamed with pain. But he finished. Commander Raylos looked at him with something that might have been surprise. He broke the course. He completed it, the judge said slowly. The trial of courage is past. Later, in the medical bay, Princess Ithara came to see him. The doctors had already fixed his leg with Valari technology, but he was told to rest. You could have stopped, she said. The trial allows surrender. I don't really do surrender, Tai-Ho said. I noticed. She sat beside his bed. My people value elegance, control. You have neither. Thanks. But you do not stop. You break and you bleed and you keep moving forward. She looked at him with those deep, dark eyes. I have never seen that before. Tai-Ho didn't know what to say. My whole life, people have treated me carefully, Ithara said quietly. Because I am a princess. They bow and smile and tell me what I want to hear. They never show me anything real. She paused. You showed me something real today. Your pain, your stubbornness, your refusal to quit. She almost smiled. It was not elegant, but it was honest. She reached out and touched his hand. Her fingers were cool and gentle. Rest now, she said. The next trials will be harder. She left. Tai-Ho lay in the medical bed and stared at the ceiling. His body hurt everywhere. He was in way over his head. He was probably going to fail the next trial and cause an interstellar incident. But when Ithara had touched his hand, he felt something. Not just attraction, something deeper. He was in trouble. Real trouble. The Valari homeworld was called Velar Prime. Tai-Ho had seen pictures, but pictures were nothing compared to reality. The planet was covered in crystal forests and silver oceans. The cities looked like they were grown, not built. Towers twisted toward the sky like frozen music. The imperial palace sat at the center of the capital. It was enormous, beautiful, cold. Tai-Ho felt very small and very human standing in its halls. He had been brought here for the final 3 trials. The whole empire was watching now. News feeds across Valari space were following the story of the human who had declared for their princess. Most Valari thought it was amusing. Some thought it was disgusting. Emperor Vyloth sat on a throne of white crystal. He was old for a Valari, with deep lines on his blue face and eyes that missed nothing. He looked at Tai-Ho like a scientist examining an insect. So, the Emperor said, you are the human. Yes, Your Majesty, Tai-Ho said. He bowed the way Do-hyun had taught him. My daughter believes you are interesting. I believe you are a fool who got lucky twice. The Emperor leaned forward. The next trials will not be about luck. They will show what you truly are. Tai-Ho nodded. His mouth was too dry to speak. Standing beside the Emperor was Prince Korath, Ithara's older brother. He was handsome and proud and looked at Tai-Ho with open hatred. He had made his feelings clear at their first meeting. Humans are animals, Korath had said. You do not belong here. You will fail, and my sister will forget this embarrassment. Tai-Ho hoped he was wrong. The trial of compassion came first. Tai-Ho was brought to a chamber where 2 Valari nobles waited. They were from different houses that had been fighting for generations over a piece of land. Tai-Ho's task was to resolve their dispute. The Valari approached conflict with pure logic. They presented evidence. They cited laws. They calculated who had the stronger claim based on history and precedent. But Tai-Ho noticed something else, the way their voices tightened when they spoke. The pain in their eyes. This wasn't really about land. It was about pride, about old wounds that never healed. "May I ask you both something?" Tai-Ho said. The nobles looked surprised. "You may." "Forget the land for a moment. Forget the laws and the history." He paused. "What do you actually want? Not what you're owed. What do you want?" They were silent for a long time. Finally, one spoke. "I want my family's honor to be recognized. My grandfather was insulted by their house. He died with that shame." The other noble stiffened. Then, slowly, his shoulders dropped. "My grandfather was wrong to speak those words. I have known this. But admitting it would mean your house was at fault," Tai-Ho finished. "And that's hard. I understand." He looked at both of them. "On Earth, we have a concept called apology. You admit you were wrong. You express regret. It doesn't change the past, but it acknowledges pain. And sometimes that's enough." The Valari stared at him. "What if," Tai-Ho continued, "House Verath formally apologizes for the insult 3 generations ago, and in return, House Corral drops the land claim. Both houses get what they actually want, honor and peace." The nobles looked at each other. Something passed between them, something that logic couldn't calculate. They agreed. The trial of compassion was passed. Shin Yuna, the human ambassador to Valar Prime, found Tai-Ho afterward. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and gray hair. "That was well done," she said. "The Valari don't understand emotion, but they respect results. You gave them both." "Thanks," Tai-Ho said. "I was just guessing, honestly." That's the human way. We guess, we feel, we stumble into things. She smiled. Sometimes it works. The trial of strength was supposed to be ceremonial, a simulation. Tai-Ho would fight a holographic beast and demonstrate basic combat ability. He wasn't expected to win. He just had to show courage. But when Tai-Ho entered the arena, the simulation was wrong. The beast that appeared was real. A creature called a Vorax. It was 3 meters tall with black scales and claws like swords. Someone had sabotaged the trial. Tai-Ho knew immediately who. Prince Korath watched from the royal box with a small smile on his face. The Vorax roared and charged. Tai-Ho dove aside. He wasn't a fighter. He was a translator. The beast was faster than him, stronger than him, and designed to kill. But Tai-Ho didn't run. He couldn't. The arena was sealed. He had to survive. The Vorax slashed at him. Tai-Ho dodged. He wasn't fast enough. Claws tore across his chest. Blood sprayed. He kept moving. The creature hit him again and again. Tai-Ho's body broke. Ribs cracked. His arm went numb. Blood filled his mouth. But he wouldn't stay down. Every time the Vorax knocked him to the ground, he got back up. Every time it cut him, he kept fighting. The crowd went silent. The Valari were graceful fighters, fast and precise. When they were hurt, they retreated, they calculated. They didn't understand what Tai-Ho was doing. He was losing, badly, but he refused to stop. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The Vorax was getting slower. It wasn't used to prey that wouldn't die. Its attacks became wild, confused. Tai-Ho couldn't beat it. He knew that. But he could outlast it. Humans weren't strong. But they had something no other species had: endurance. The ability to keep going when their bodies should quit. The refusal to accept defeat. 15 minutes. The Vorax stopped. It stood there, breathing hard, staring at this broken human who wouldn't fall. Then it lay down. The beast was exhausted. Tai-Ho stood in the center of the arena, covered in blood, barely able to see. But he was standing. The crowd erupted. Guards rushed in to secure the Vorax. Medical teams ran to Tai-Ho. Through the haze of pain, he saw Princess Ithara pushing through the crowd, her face pale with fear. "Taiho!" She reached him just as he collapsed. She caught him, her cool hands on his burning skin. "You foolish human! You stupid, stubborn, impossible human!" "Did I pass?" he whispered. She laughed. It was a broken sound, half sob. "Yes." "You passed." He smiled. Then everything went black. He woke in the medical bay again. Valari doctors had repaired most of the damage, but they said he needed rest. His body had been pushed too far. Ithara was there. She had been there for hours, they said, waiting. "Korath did this," she said quietly. "I know it, but I cannot prove it. He covered his tracks well." "It's okay," Taiho said. His voice was rough. "It is not okay. He tried to kill you, but he failed." Taiho looked at her. "And now everyone saw what I am, what humans are. We don't stop, Ithara. We don't know how." She took his hand. "I have watched many warriors in my life. Valari champions, the best of our species." She squeezed his fingers. "I have never seen anyone like you. You should have died." "Any Valari would have died." "Humans are too stupid to die when we should," Taiho said. She didn't laugh. "You keep getting back up. Why? You could have surrendered. You could have stopped." Taiho thought about it. "Because you were watching. Because giving up in front of you felt worse than dying." Ithara was quiet for a long time. "One trial remains," she finally said. "The trial of truth. My father will ask you a question. You must answer honestly. Valari technology will detect any lie." "What will he ask?" "I do not know, but Korath has been speaking to him." Her hand tightened on his. "Whatever comes, Taiho, thank you for showing me what you are. I have never felt—" She stopped. "Felt what?" She looked at him with those deep, dark eyes. "Hope." She left before he could respond. Taiho lay in the medical bed and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow was the final trial. Tomorrow would decide everything. He was terrified, but he was also ready. The Imperial throne room was the largest space Taiho had ever seen. Crystal pillars rose toward a ceiling painted with stars. Thousands of Valari nobles filled the galleries. Cameras floated in the air, broadcasting across the empire. Every eye was on Taiho. He walked down the central aisle toward Emperor Veloth's throne. His wounds were healed, but he still moved stiffly. The Valari watched him like they were studying a strange animal. Some were curious, some were hostile. Most were simply waiting to see what would happen. Princess Ithara stood to the right of the throne. She wore silver and white, her hair decorated with crystals. She looked beautiful and scared. She tried to smile at Taiho, but it didn't reach her eyes. Prince Korath stood to the left. He looked very pleased with himself. Taiho reached the base of the throne and bowed. "Park Taiho of Earth," the Emperor said. His voice echoed through the hall. "You have passed 4 trials. Wit, courage, compassion, strength. Now comes the final trial, the trial of truth." A device floated down from the ceiling. It was small and silver, covered in tiny lights. It stopped in front of Taiho's face. "This is a truth scanner," the Emperor explained. "It reads your biological responses, your brain patterns, your heart rate. If you lie, it will know, and if you lie, you fail." Taiho nodded. His heart was already beating fast. "I will ask you one question," the Emperor continued. "Answer honestly, and the trial is complete." He paused. "Answer falsely, and you will be removed from Valar Prime. The courtship will end, and your people will face consequences." The threat was clear. Korath leaned toward his father and whispered something. The Emperor listened. Then he nodded slowly. Taiho felt his stomach drop. "Here is your question, human." The Emperor's eyes were cold and sharp. "Do you love my daughter, or do you pursue her for humanity's political gain?" The room went silent. Tai-Ho felt the weight of 1,000,000 eyes on him. He felt Earth's government watching. They had sent him messages before the trial. They wanted him to say yes, to say he loved her, to secure the alliance, even if it wasn't true. He felt Ithara watching him. Her hands were clasped in front of her. Her face was carefully blank, but he could see the tension in her shoulders. He felt his own heart beating. He knew what he should say. The diplomatic answer. The smart answer. The answer that would make everyone happy and keep the peace and help humanity's future. But the scanner was watching, and Tai-Ho was tired of lying. "No," he said. The room gasped. "I don't love your daughter." Korath smiled wide. "The human admits it. He is a fraud." "Let me finish," Tai-Ho said. His voice was calm but firm. The Emperor raised a hand. Korath went silent. Tai-Ho looked at Ithara. Her face had gone pale. He spoke to her, even though everyone was listening. "I don't love you. I can't. I've known you for 3 weeks. That's not love. That's attraction. That's fascination. Maybe the beginning of something, but not love. Not yet." He took a breath. "When I made that stupid comment at the gala, I wasn't thinking about you. I was thinking about my ex. I was bitter and drunk, and I wanted to feel better about myself. I didn't even really see you. I just saw someone beautiful, and I ran my mouth." The scanner hummed. The lights stayed green. Truth. "So why am I here?" Tai-Ho continued. "Why did I do the trials? Why did I let myself get beaten half to death?" He paused. "Because somewhere along the way I started actually seeing you. Not the princess. You." Ithara's expression shifted, just slightly, hope and fear fighting in her eyes. "I saw how you treat the servants like equals. I heard about your work to change unfair laws. I watched you sit by my bed for hours after the Vorax fight, even though you didn't have to, even though it was beneath your station." Tai-Ho's voice softened. "I saw someone trapped by duty who still tries to be kind. Someone who's never been chosen for herself, only for her title." He faced the Emperor again. "Would humanity benefit from this alliance? Yes. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But that's not why I'm standing here. I'm here because your daughter is the first person, human or Valari, who made me want to be better than I was yesterday." He looked back at Ithara. "I don't know if what I feel is love. It's too soon. But I know I want to find out. I know that when I wake up, I want to see you. I know that when I got hurt, the worst part was seeing fear on your face. I know that you make me feel like maybe I'm not as boring and useless as I thought." The scanner hummed again. Green. "So that's my truth. I'm not here for politics. I'm not here because it's smart. I'm here because of you, just you. And I don't know what that means yet, but I want to learn." The throne room was completely silent. Emperor Veloth stared at Tai-Ho for a long time. His face was unreadable. Then Korath stepped forward. "Father, he admitted he does not love her. The trial is failed. The question was clear." "The question was about love versus politics," the Emperor said slowly. "He has said it is neither. He speaks of something else entirely." He looked at Tai-Ho with new interest. "You are either very honest or very clever, human." "Honestly, I'm not that clever." The Emperor almost smiled. Almost. Then Ithara moved. She walked down from the platform toward Tai-Ho. Every eye followed her. "There is an ancient right," she said. Her voice was clear and strong. "When one party has given truth in courtship, the other may answer with equal truth. I invoke this right now." The Emperor nodded. "You may speak." Ithara faced the scanner. It floated toward her and began monitoring. "I did not want this courtship," she said. "When I heard this human's drunken words, I saw an opportunity. A chance to delay my father's plans to marry me away for alliance. I thought this foolish man would fail quickly and I would gain a few weeks of freedom. The scanner hummed. Green. But he did not fail. He argued philosophy with our scholars and made them think in new ways. He broke his body rather than surrender. He turned a conflict about land into a conversation about healing. She paused. He showed me things I had never seen, not because he was trying to impress me, but because that is simply what he is. She looked at Taiho. I have been courted before, by princes and lords and warriors. They brought me gifts and flattery and calculated speeches. They wanted my title, my power, my father's favor. Her voice softened. You brought me truth, clumsy, awkward, bloody truth. And when you spoke just now, you could have lied. The easy answer would have served you better. But you chose honesty even when it might cost you everything. Her eyes glistened. Do I love you? I do not know. I have never loved anyone. I was not taught how. But I know that you make me feel like perhaps I could learn, and that terrifies me, and that makes me want to try. The scanner hummed one final time. Green. Ithara faced her father. He gave me truth without love and said love might grow. I give him the same answer. Is that not what courtship is for? To discover if love is possible? The Emperor was quiet. Then he stood. The entire room held its breath. The trial of truth asks for honesty. Both of you have given it. Uncomfortable honesty. Incomplete honesty. Human honesty. He looked at Taiho. You did not give me the answer I expected, but truth without love can grow. Love without truth cannot. He raised his hand. The trial of truth is past. The courtship may continue. The room erupted. Some cheered. Some gasped. Korath's face twisted with rage. Taiho didn't hear any of it. He was looking at Ithara. She was looking at him. She smiled. A real smile. The first one he had ever seen from her. You are an idiot? She said. Yeah, he agreed. I really am. Then the alarms started. Red lights flashed across the throne room. Screens appeared in the air, showing fire and destruction. Guards shouted and ran. What's happening? Taiho asked. A guard approached the Emperor with fear in his eyes. Separatists, Your Majesty. They've breached the palace. They're coming for... The lights went out. When they came back on, Ithara was gone. And Taiho heard her scream. The palace was chaos. Smoke filled the corridors. Guards ran in every direction. Alarms screamed without stopping. Taiho pushed through the crowds, shouting Ithara's name. No one answered. No one helped. They were all too busy trying to secure the Emperor, protect the nobles, follow protocol. He found Commander Raylos in a side chamber, barking orders at soldiers. Where is she? Taiho demanded. Where did they take her? Raylos barely looked at him. The Separatists have her. They're moving toward the upper docks. They have a ship waiting in orbit. Then go after them. We cannot. They have placed explosives throughout the palace. If we pursue carelessly, they detonate. We must plan, calculate, find a safe approach. Raylos finally met Taiho's eyes. This will take time. How much time? Hours, perhaps longer. Taiho felt cold fury building in his chest. She doesn't have hours. The Valari way is precision, strategy. We do not rush into danger like humans. Taiho turned and walked away. Where are you going? Raylos called after him. Taiho didn't answer. He found the human embassy staff gathered in a safe room. There were only 12 of them. Ambassador Yuna, some guards, translators and aides, Do-hyun, who had arrived on Valar Prime that morning to watch the trial. The Separatists have Ithara, Taiho told them. The Valari are waiting, planning. They won't move for hours. That's their way, Yuna said carefully. It's not ours. Silence. What are you suggesting? One of the guards asked. The Separatists are taking her to their ship. If they get off the planet, we lose her. The Valari will plan their rescue for hours. We can move now. Taiho looked at each face in the room. I know we're not soldiers. I know we're outmatched. But when has that ever stopped humans? Do-Yun laughed. You're insane. Probably. The Separatists have weapons, training, numbers. Do-Yun shook his head. We have nothing. We have something they don't expect, Taiho said. We're human. We do stupid things. We don't follow the rules. We don't wait for the right moment. We just go. And get killed, Yuna said. Maybe. But we try. Taiho's voice was steady. I'm not asking anyone to come with me, but I'm going. I have to. Because she's counting on someone to come for her, and the Valari are too busy calculating to move. The room was quiet. Then the guard who had spoken before stepped forward. His name was Gong Minho. He was young, maybe 25. I didn't join the diplomatic corps to sit in safe rooms. Another guard nodded. Then Do-Yun, sighing dramatically. Someone has to keep you alive, I suppose. One by one, they stepped forward. Not all of them, but enough. 8 humans. Ambassador Yuna watched them go. You know this is a terrible idea. Yes, Taiho said, but it's our idea. They moved through the palace using service corridors that the Separatists hadn't secured. Do-Hyun's knowledge of Valari biology helped them avoid patrols. The Separatists were fast and graceful, but they weren't expecting threats from behind. They weren't expecting humans. The Separatists had set up barriers at key points, environmental hazards, rooms filled with cold gas that would paralyze Valari lungs, electrical fields that would stop their hearts. Humans were different. Our body temperature runs higher, Do-Yun explained as they entered a freezing corridor. We can survive cold that would kill a Valari in minutes. Just move fast. They moved fast. Taiho's lungs burned. His skin felt like it was covered in needles. But he kept moving. They all did. Humans didn't know when to stop. They reached the upper docks. The Separatist ship was waiting. A shuttle was loading. And there, surrounded by guards, was Ithara. Her hands were bound. Her face was bruised. But she was alive. 8 humans against 20 Separatists. Terrible odds. Perfect odds for stupidity. Taiho gave the signal. Minho and the guards hit the Separatists from behind with weapons they had taken from fallen enemies. Do-Hyun threw chemical grenades that made Valari eyes burn but did little to humans. The Separatists scattered, confused. They weren't prepared for this. This wasn't elegant. This wasn't strategic. This was chaos. This was human. Taiho ran for Ithara. A Separatist blocked his path, tall, armed, faster than Taiho would ever be. He attacked anyway. The Separatist hit him, hard. Taiho felt ribs crack again. He fell. He got back up. The Separatist hit him again. Blood filled Taiho's mouth. He fell. He got back up. Why won't you stay down? The Separatist hissed. Humans don't do that, Taiho said. He lunged. Not with skill, not with strategy, just with everything he had. The Separatist dodged easily. But Taiho had expected that. He wasn't aiming for the Separatist. He was aiming for the control panel behind him. He crashed into it. Sparks flew. The shuttle's loading ramp began to close, cutting off the Separatist's escape. The Separatist screamed in rage and raised his weapon for a killing blow. Then Ithara moved. She had been working at her bonds since the fight started. Now she broke free. She grabbed a fallen weapon and fired in one smooth motion. The Separatist dropped. Ithara ran to Taiho. You came, she said. You stupid, impossible human. You came. Told you I don't surrender. She laughed. It was wild and broken and beautiful. The remaining Separatists tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had disrupted everything, and now Valari security forces were arriving, finally ready to move. The Separatist leader faced Taiho. He was tall and scarred and full of hate. One human, he spat. One weak, fragile, inferior human. You think you can change anything? Taiho could barely stand. His body was broken in a dozen places. He could taste blood and feel bones grinding. You're right, he said. One human is weak. He looked at Ithara beside him, at his friends behind him, at the security forces filling the dock. But I'm not here for humanity. I'm here for her. The leader raised his weapon. Taiho moved, not fast, not graceful, just forward. He tackled the leader. They fell together. The weapon fired but went wide. They hit the ground hard. Taiho couldn't win this fight. He knew that. But he could hold on. He could last long enough. Human endurance, human stubbornness, human refusal to accept the obvious. Ithara fired. The leader went still. Taiho lay on the ground, breathing hard. Everything hurt. Everything was broken. But they had won. The dock was secured. The separatists were captured. Ithara was safe. Taiho closed his eyes. The next days were a blur of medical bays and official ceremonies. The humans were heroes. Emperor Veloth publicly honored them, calling them the species that does not understand surrender. Prince Korath was not at the ceremony. He had been sent away from court. There were rumors about his connection to the separatists, but nothing was proven. It didn't matter. He was gone. Taiho healed slowly. Human bodies were tough, but he had pushed too far. Even Valari medicine couldn't fix everything instantly. Ithara visited him every day. You should rest, she said. I'm resting. You're fidgeting. Same thing. She sat beside his bed and held his hand. She did that a lot now. What happens next? Taiho asked. I do not know. She was quiet for a moment. The courtship trials are complete. Tradition says we should marry. Taiho's heart jumped. Do you want that? I want to know you, properly, not through trials and danger and political pressure. She looked at him. I want to learn if what we feel can become love, the real kind, the kind that lasts. That could take time. Humans live such short lives. Valari do not. She squeezed his hand. I have time, if you do. Taiho smiled. Yeah, I do. The day he was well enough to walk, Ithara took him to a balcony overlooking the Crystal City. The sun was setting, turning everything gold and pink. Do you regret it? She asked. Your drunken comment at the gala? Taiho thought about it. The pain, the fear, the broken bones and near death. Then he thought about her hand in his, her smile, the way she looked at him like he was something new. It's the best mistake I ever made, he said. Ithara shook her head. Not a mistake. Humans simply call truth by other names. She leaned in. He leaned in. Somewhere far away on Earth, Yun Nari saw the broadcast of the ceremony honoring the human heroes. She saw her ex-boyfriend standing beside an alien princess, their hands intertwined. She had said he was boring, going nowhere. She was wrong. Taiho had gone further than anyone, and he was just getting started.